Assalamualaikum to the lecturer and all my fellow friends. So today, we're going to start with the introduction of the new economic policy. So, the new economic policy was introduced in Malaysia in 1971 as a comprehensive socio-economic program designed to promote national unity and socio-economic balance among the various ethnic groups in the country. The policy was introduced by the government and led by Tun Abdul Razak Hussein following the serious racial conflict known as 13 May incidents.
My name is Muhammad Syamil Irfan bin Sabri, and I will present about issue, cost and benefit new economic policy. The first issue before new economic policy was established Rahasia Road in 1969. The trigger happening on May 30, 1969, violent ethnic clash broke out between the Malays and Chinese communities in Kuala Lumpur following the May 10 general election. Tension quickly escalated into looting and arson, forcing the government to declare a state of emergency, suspend parliament, and establish the National Operation Council (NOC). For immediate costs, the official government reported 196 deaths, over 700 building damaged or destroyed, and roughly 6,000 people as homeless. The severe destruction of home and business in the capital led to massive and compensation costs. The benefits and implementation of the new economic policy was introduced by Prime Minister Abdul Razak, and the new economic policy was affirmative action program designed to reduce the economic dominance of the ethnic Chinese minority. Its aim to increase the indigenous Bumiputra share of national wealth to at least 30% by granting them preferred treatment in bank loan, housing, business contract, and public sector quotas. We go to second issue, economic imbalance between ethnic groups. This has happened because British colonial device and rules. The British created a dual economic system that segregated ethnic groups. The Chinese and Indians were concentrated in urban areas, moving from colonial tin mines and rubber plantation into high-profit, modern commercial sector, and the Malays were largely confined to rural areas, left to survive on stagnant, traditional agriculture and fishing. For cost, this issue are several poverty gaps. The structural division caused massive gaps in income and wealth. Because traditional rural sector face population pressure and lack modern technology, the Malays and indigenous group become the poorest in the country, resulting in the staggering 65% poverty rate among them in 1970. The NEP tackled this imbalance through two main avenues: corporate equity and rural development. For corporate equity, it mandated a 30% Bumiputra equity target, which successfully raised Bumiputra corporate ownership through public institution to 12.5% by 1918. And for rural development, government agencies like FELDA launched program providing land and directly raising the income foundation of rural Malays. The third issue is poverty among Bumiputra. In 1917, Malaysia faced a staggering national poverty rate of 49.3%, rural area 58.7%, Bumiputra population 64.8% compared to 26% for the Chinese community. This was followed by a colonial school system, high-paying administrative and professional career recruitment, and English medium education, which was mostly accessible only the urban North Malay elite. In contrast, rural Malay children were into vernacular primary school that taught only basic reading and writing. For cost, without access to quality higher education or financial assistance to cover its poverty costs, many Bumiputra students had no choice but to drop out. This led them to unable to break into modern business, industry, and corporate management. Instead, they were forced to fall back on their family's traditional low-income livelihood like farming and fishing, causing them to fall further behind economically every year compared to other ethnic groups. The benefit to shatter this cycle and lift the Bumiputra out of poverty. The new economic policy introduced targeting scholarship, university quota, and design training programs. A prime example was the creation of University Technology Mara (UITM), an institution established specially to guarantee higher education placement for Malay, Sabah native, and Sarawak native students in professional fields. By equipping them with advanced degree and corporate skill, the policy boosts the Bumiputra incomes and successfully worked to reduce ethnic poverty. The last issue I will discuss is needed to restructure society. Following independence, a severe structural imbalance emerged along ethnic lines, leaving the Malays and Bumiputra community disproportionately look up the modern professional fields and higher education. For example, in the government in 1969, non-Malays held 61.47% of public sector roles compared to just 38.53% for Malay. To cause this lopsided dynamic lead to sharp income and occupational division, where non-Bumiputra citizens dominate concentrative urban employment, while the bulk of the Bumiputra population remained trapped in the low productivity and low-income rural sector. And for these benefits, to break the line between race and economic function, the government launched the new economic policy with a dual approach that successfully balanced society by 1980, such as poverty eradication by expanding jobs and income for all citizens regardless of race. The national poverty rate decreased dramatically from 49.3% to 29.2% in 1980.
So now, let's move on to the objective of the new economic policy. Firstly, we have national unity, which is one of the main objectives of the new economic policy was to promote national unity among the people of Malaysia. This policy aimed to reduce poverty and address economic imbalance between ethnic groups by providing greater access to education, employment, and business opportunities, by creating a fairer distribution of wealth and improving living standards. The NEP sought to reduce social tensions and foster greater harmony, cooperation, and integration among all Malaysians. Next, we have improving economic conditions and quality of life. The new economic policy aimed to improve economic conditions and quality of life of Malaysians by reducing poverty, creating more job opportunities, and increase access to education and healthcare. Through economic development and support programs, the policy helps raise incomes, improve living standards, and provide better opportunities for people to achieve high quality of life. Lastly, the objective of the new economic policy is to ensure the poor are provided with sufficient opportunities. The NEP aims to reduce poverty by creating more opportunities for the poor Malaysians regardless of race. This was achieved through better access to education, employment, business, assistance, training programs, and basic service. By increasing opportunities to earn income and improve skill, the government sought to raise living standards and reduce economic inequality.
My name is Nurfani Adlina binti Ahmad Fairuz. I'm going to present about implementation strategy of the new economic policy. promoting national unity and nation building. The government viewed this as a long-term effort to transform Malaysia's diverse population into a more cohesive society. To achieve this, it adopted a multidimensional approach that addressed social, political, cultural, and psychological aspects of society. Rather than relying only on laws and regulation, the government also aimed to influence citizen value, perception, and attitudes. The goal was to encourage people from different ethnic and cultural backgrounds to develop mutual understanding, respect, and cooperation. Through this effort, the government aimed to create collective national identity based on harmony, justice, and fairness. By strengthening these shared values, it hoped to reduce social division and build a more united and stable nation. Reducing poverty through social development. This strategy focused on reducing poverty by improving the overall quality of life rather than relying only on direct financial assistance. The government invested heavily in essential public services to help people develop skills and resources needed for long-term economic improvement. One of the main priorities was reducing the gap between urban and rural areas. The government expanded access to education and vocational training so that people could gain knowledge and practical skills that would improve their employment opportunities. Healthcare services were also extended to remote communities, ensuring that more citizens had access to medical care and could maintain a healthier lifestyle. In addition, basic infrastructure such as clean water supply, electricity was improved in many areas. This development raised living standards and created a better environment of economic and social progresses. Through this multidimensional approach, the government empowered low-income communities, helped break the cycle of poverty, and enabled more citizens to participate actively in nation economy. Restructuring the economy to achieve quality, focus on reshaping the national economy to create more opportunities and promote long-term equality. The government implemented two-part agricultural plan that involved opening new land for productive use and modernizing existing farms. These efforts help increase productivity and improve the income of rural communities. Beyond agriculture, the government aimed to reduce the link between race and economic activities by encouraging participation from all ethnic groups across different employment sectors. Efforts were also made to increase corporate ownership among disadvantaged groups and strengthen the commercial and industrial sectors. By reducing income disparities between regions and expanding economic opportunities, this strategy helped raise earnings for all ethnic groups. It also enabled less advantaged citizens to benefit more fairly from the country's economic growth and development.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to our lecturer and fellow classmate. My name is Hadif Naufal. Today I will be presenting on the role of various actors in formulating the new economic policy or NEP. The new economic policy was introduced in 1971 following the May 13 incidents. The main objective of the NEP were to reduce poverty regardless to race, restructure society, and strengthen national unity. The success of this policy depended on the contribution of several important actors. First, the political executive played a major role in formulating the NEP. This group consisted of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, who were responsible for making important national policy decisions. After the May 13 incidents, Malaysia was placed under the administration of Majoran, which was led by Tun Abdul Razak. Tun Abdul Razak recognized that poverty and the economic inequality among ethnic groups were major cause of social tensions. Therefore, he introduced the NEP as a long-term strategy to improve the socio-economic condition of the people and promote national unity. The political executive also provided leadership and direction throughout the policy-making process by coordinating government institutions and ensuring that development programs were aligned with the objective of the NEP. Second, the legislative body, particularly Parliament, also played an important role. Parliament was responsible for debating, approving, and monitoring government policies. Although Parliament was suspended after the 1969 riot, it resumed its function in 1971. One of its major contributions was approving the second Malaysian Plan, which officially incorporated the NEP into the country development agenda. Member of Parliament debated the policy and approved the financial education required for its implementations. Through this process, Parliament provide legal authority and democratic legitimacy of the NEP, helping to increase public confidence in government efforts. Next, government agencies serve as the administrative machinery responsible for implementing the NEP. While political leaders formulate the policy, government agencies ensure that the objective could be achieved through particular program and initiative. Several agencies play important role, including the Economic Planning Unit, or EPU, FELDA, and MARA. The EPU was responsible for economic planning, policy coordination, and monitoring development project. FELDA introduced land development scheme that provide employment and settlement opportunities, particularly for rural communities. Meanwhile, MARA focused on education, skill trainings, and business assistance for Bumiputra community. Through this effort, government agencies have reduced poverty and improved economic participation among the people. Finally, non-government organizations or NGO and political parties also contributed to the formulations and implementation of the NEP. Although they did not have direct authority to create policy, they influenced the policy process by representing public opinions and community interests. Political parties such as UMNO, together with other parties in the National Coalition, supported the implementation of the NEP and helped maintain political stability. At the same time, NGO chambers of commerce and ethnic associations provided feedback regarding the impact of the policy on different communities. Their involvement allowed the government to better understand public concern and make improvement when necessary. As a result, communication between the government and society was strengthened, making the implementation of the NEP more effective. In conclusion, the formulation and implementation of the new economic policy involved the cooperation of various actors, including the political executive, legislative body, government agencies, NGO, and political parties. Their combined effort contributed to the success of the NEP in reducing poverty, restructuring society, and strengthening national unity in Malaysia. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Muhammad Faris Najmi bin Helmi, and today I want to present about evaluation on the effectiveness of economic policy, SWOT analysis. First issue, racial riots in 1969 made 13 accidents. This issue became strange. Before accidents, Malaysia had already achieved independence and possesses a functioning democratic system with growing economic development. Different ethnic groups contribute to various economic sectors such as agriculture, mining, and trade, which is supported national growth. After election results announced, the procession and celebration in Kuala Lumpur, which then turned into the whispered violence. Many people lose their poverty and lose their life. Despite ethnic difference, the country had stable institutions and potential to build a united multicultural society. After the incident, the government took immediate action by declaring a state of emergency and established the National Operation Council, which is NOC, to restore order. Malaysia have two goals to focus on national unity and racial harmony policies. Malaysia also introduced the new economic policy, which is NEP, in 1961 to reduce poverty and restructure society. The NEP aimed to improve national unity through socio-economy, reform, and poverty eradication. We move to the second issue, which is economic imbalance between ethnic groups. These issues become the weakness. Malaysia faced serious economic imbalance between ethnic groups. Many Bumiputra communities live in rural areas and depended heavily by agriculture, resulting in widespread poverty and limited access to quality education and modern employment opportunities. The large income gap between ethnic groups. In contrast, non-Bumiputra groups are more active in urban business and trade sectors, unequal wealth distribution, and social distrification. Other weakness was the lack of social integration among ethics groups. Economic roles were often separated by ethnicity, caused mistrust and political tensions. It also showed that the economic activities were divided by ethics. This weakness contributed significantly to the tension that led to the May 13 incident. After the incident, too many reforms were introduced. Some economic disparities and economic mistrust still remain. Certain groups also felt dissatisfied with the race-based economic policies and government intervention. We move to the third issue, which is poverty among Bumiputra. These issues become opportunities. Before the incidents, Malaysia had the opportunity to create a more exclusive society by improving education, expanding economic participation, and strengthening national unity among all the ethics groups. Industrial and rural development also provide opportunities to reduce poverty and improve living standards. After the incidents, the NEP created a major opportunities for social restructuring. The policy expanded access to education, business ownership, and employment opportunities for the Bumiputra communities. Rural development programs and affirmative action policies help reduce poverty and increase Bumiputra participation in modern economy. This reform aimed to eliminate the identification of race with economic function and create a more balanced society. Last but not least, we move to the last issue, which is need to restructure society. This became the threats before the incidents. Rising ethics tension and economic inequality threatened national stability. The issue of growing ethic tension due to social and economic imbalance. Political parties often focus to ethics interests, interesting hostility during the 1969 general election. Justification over unequal wealth distribution created to the risk of the racial conflict. After the incidents, Malaysia continued to face challenges related to ethics sensitivity and social polarization. There was also the risk that race-based policies could create independency and justification among different communities. The risk of going ethics polarization of restructuring is not accepted equally. If economic inequality and mistrust were properly managed, they could strengthen long-term national unity and political stability. In conclusion, from all the SWOT, the May 13 incident highlighted a serious impact in economic imbalance, poverty among Bumiputra, and weak social integration in Malaysia. Although the strategy exposed major weaknesses and threats within society, it created opportunities for reform through policies such as economic policies and EP. Poverty among Bumiputra was a major issue before the May 13 incident, mainly due to rural economic independence and limited access to opportunities. After the incidents, Malaysia implemented policies such as NEP to reduce poverty and improve equality. Although challenges in achieving full economic balance still remain, the need to restructure society became very clear after the May 13 incidents due to keep social and economic equalities. While post-incident policies like the NEP help to improve balance and unity, restructuring society remain a long-term and sensitivity national challenge. The incident remains that important lessons of the importance of equality, unity, and racial harmony in maintaining national stability. That's all from me. Thank you.